How do I start this one? Same?
Same.
Okay, we will start the prayer. Om Gananam Tva Ganapatim Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamasya Vastravam Jyesharajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Sranvanusibhi Srijasadanam Om Shri Mahaganadhipataye Namaha Om Drishabham Chashaninam Vishwarupamadabyam Bruthaspatiim Varenyam Om Tadvishno Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Surayah Divi Vachakshuratatam Om Aim Hrim Shrim Klim Hasau Jagat Prasudjai Namah. Everybody say after me Hare Ram Krishna 3 times. Om Hare Rama Krishna Hare Rama Krishna Hare Rama Krishna. Okay, anybody has any questions from the last class?
Couple of questions.
Yes.
What happens if Pata and Bhoga happens to be the same house? Will it ever happen between the Mahadasha and Antardasha if there is no...
Yeah, it can happen. Paka and Bhoga can be in the same house.
Is there any specific couple?
No, there is no specific rule for it. Yeah.
That means
basically, Paka will show where your effort is going, and Bhoga will show what you are experiencing, what you are getting. If they are the same, basically you are putting your effort into something in which you are also getting some. Yeah, you are getting some results. Yeah.
And if the planets are in the same house, it can happen.
Yes, Dasalad and Antardasalad are in the same
house.
Yeah.
Okay. And another question is on the Tithi Pravesha chart. Only is Tithi and Masam are same. Is it Nakshatram may not be same?
Nakshatram need not be the same.
Need not be same.
Yeah. When the Tithi of your birth comes back, the nakshatra will be close to your original nakshatram, but it can be a couple of nakshatrams away.
Okay.
The only criterion is sun should be in the same sign as he was when you were born, and then sun and moon should be at the same distance. So when you were born, let us say sun was at the beginning of Pisces, and you were born on a particular tithi. When the same tithi comes back in the next year, sun may be at the other end of the Pisces. So then moon has to be at the same distance. So moon will also be away by sun was, for example, at 5 degrees in your birth chart, 5 degrees Pisces. And this year, when your birth tithi came, let's say sun is at 25 degrees Pisces. So he's 20 degrees advanced. So moon, when the tithi comes, the criterion is sun should be in the same sign and moon should be at exactly the same distance from sun as he was when you were born. So earlier, whatever distance was between 5 degree Pisces sun and moon, now same distance has to match with 25 degrees Pisces sun and moon. So moon will basically be advanced by 20 degrees compared to his original natal position. So that means it's basically 2 nakshatras away.
Okay.
So it can happen. But if you see the birth nakshatra being Hasta and in Tithi Pravesh chart you see Rohini, there is a bug in the software. It can be a couple of nakshatrams this way or that way. Basically 30 degrees.
Right.
30 degrees divided by 13 is basically 2 and fraction. So 3 nakshatras. Maximum it can be off by 3 nakshatras, either plus or minus. If it is more than that, there is a bug in the software. Okay?
About this nakshatras, if I want to find an order of nakshatras and the ruler of the nakshatras, where I can get. And is it relevant to this Atma Karaka and is anything relevant to this other astrological point of view?
I did not understand the second
first
part.
question is,
can you repeat that?
how do I find the order of...
Yes, that you can find from any book. For example, if you get my book, you have the list of nakshatras and the lords of the nakshatras.
Okay.
So you can get it from any book. So I did not really specifically mention it.
Okay.
I can also give a table in a later class. But what is the second part?
Second part is, for example, this example what you have right now.
Yeah.
Is a Purva Bhadra, right? Is owned by Venus.
Which Purva Bhadra?
No.
Pura Bhadra is not one.
It's not Purva
Venus
Bhadra.
is what is in the bracket.
Okay. The one in the brackets is basically the Lord of the Nakshatra.
Yeah.
And it's not Purva Bhadra. If you read it, you will see that it's Purva Shada.
No, I couldn't read it.
You want it to be bigger?
Yeah.
Sure.
No, because it was okay. Purvashada.
Yeah.
Now it's moon. That means moon is in the nakshatra. Moon belongs to the nakshatra.
Yes, moon is in Purvashada Nakshatra, which is owned by Venus, as per Jyothishya scheme.
Okay, but does it have any relevance to this Atma Karaka and all those things?
No, they are totally different things.
Okay. And then Purvashada falls in the Sagittarius. That's what it is.
Yeah, Purvashada falls in Sagittarius. That's why you see moon in Sagittarius. Okay. And his question was, suppose somebody is born at this time.
Okay.
He is born on Krishna Trayodasi, which means he was born on Krishna Trayodasi with 75% of the tithi left. That means if you do some math, you will see that the distance between sun and moon has to be exactly certain number of degrees. Then only you get Krishna Trayodasi with 75% left. So there is a particular distance between sun and moon. If you see here, sun is here, moon is here. Sun is in Capricorn, moon is in Sagittarius. If you find the distance, it is maybe 340 degrees or 325 degrees. There is certain distance. Now, Tithi Pravesha occurs every year when sun is again in Capricorn and moon is exactly at the same distance. That is when the new beginning happens for the year. Okay? Okay.
It happens like twice in that same time. You take the later one or
We take the later one, but it's open to research. We can do some research on it. His question was, you have this concept of Adhikamasam. So his question is basically related to that. What if when sun is in the beginning of Capricorn, the same tithi may have come, and when sun is at the end of Capricorn, again the same tithi may have come. It happens once every few years. So when it happens, how do you know which is the correct birthday? Which one will tell you what will happen during the next year? So what we do in tradition is we take the second one.
And those who are born in Adhikamasam, like how their Tithi Pravesha will occur. It will occur 12 years.
Yes. His question is, when somebody is born, if there was an Adhikamasam, that means when he was born during this year, when sun was in the beginning of Capricorn and when he was at the end of Capricorn, the same tithi came. So he was born during the Adhikamasam, not during the Nijamasam. Then how do you define it? So all that is tricky.
Okay.
I don't have any clear views on it because I haven't worked a lot with that kind of chart.
Okay.
But what I was told by my guru is, doesn't matter whether the birth happened in Nijamasam or Adhikamasam, it is basically that tithi when sun is in that sign. So whenever it happens every year, that is Tithi Pravesha. You don't have to wait for so many years for that person's birthday to come, like leap year, for example, February 29th birth.
My question was, is there any significance of nakshatra versus any astrological?
Other factors you are saying, but Apagaka was just an example.
Yeah.
The nakshatra lord basically.
Does it have any significance? That's all.
It does have a lot of significance. If you are, for example, looking at the current dasha, let us say somebody is running. Let us take somebody who is born right now. So if you look at his dashas, for example, let's say moon dasha runs from 2019.
Right.
From 2019 to 2029, this person will run moon dasha.
Right.
And moon is in whose nakshatra? Purvashada, which is owned by Venus. So moon is basically, as far as nakshatra is concerned, moon is under the influence of Venus. So who is Venus in this chart? What is his role? What is his agenda? That does have a role in deciding what results moon will take. So there is a significance, but we haven't done anything on nakshatra dispositor so far. So for us, we don't care. We don't care about it right now, but it is important. So now I understand what you are asking. We'll do it slowly. Okay. Now, do you have any other questions? Anybody has any other questions? So we will continue the discussion on Narayan Dasha, but you said you wanted to show an example. Do you want to do that? Okay. Is it your chart?
Yeah.
Okay. Seshu Garu wants us to see his chart. By the way, the two guys who are talking in the middle of the class, they are from New Jersey. Narayan Iyer and Suresh Babu, they are very good astrologers.
Narayan Iyer came once.
Yeah, he came on.
Both of them came.
Yeah.
This is related to career change and significant events. You open the chart time.
Okay.
You open the chart. No.
Okay.
That's the area and.
Okay. We'll let other people guess. The date of birth is September 16, 1961. The time is 2:22 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and the place is Secunderabad, India. 78 East 30, 17 North 27. Now, I'll let you guys drive. Whatever you want me to open, I will open. He says that during this particular week, an important change happened in his career. Right? Is that right?
Right.
So there was an important change in his career. What kind of change could it be?
Which week? Last week.
This week, the week that's over, last week. So what technique do you want to apply? Do you want to first directly go to Tithi Pravesha?
We saw first Narayan Dasha, then after we did Tithi Pravesha again.
Okay, let's just go to Tithi Pravesha right now to see,
2006.
to get an idea of whether it's a good event or a bad event. So we should look for 2004 Tithi Pravesha chart. So 2004 Tithi Pravesha chart was on August 22, 2004 at 5:23:15 a.m. Who is the Hora Lord?
Mars.
The ruler of the year. Mars is the ruler of the year. He is the Hora Lord. So he shows the theme of the year. Now, if you go to Dashas, let's go to Dashamsa instead of Navamsa. We want to see something about his career. So Dashamsa. Mars is Lagna Lord. 1 second. We have 8 minutes leeway and 4 minutes 45 seconds leeway on both sides. So mostly, unless the time is totally off. Okay. But we don't trust ourselves. Basically, when we look at a chart, no, the bottom line is when we fixed it, how confident were we? Were we confident that it could not be 2 seconds earlier? Were we confident that it could not be 2 minutes earlier? We have a window basically. You never know the point of time. You only have a window. So for this year, when you look at the Dashamsa, it may be right on the border. 2 seconds earlier, it may be a different Lagna. If it is so close to the border, then you want to consider the other one also because you are not sure. But here we have 8 minutes and 4 3/4 minutes leeway on both the sides. So we are safe mostly unless the time is totally off. Now, what Dasha is he running right now?
Sir, if it happened before 4.
When did it happen?
Mercury is done.
Mercury Dasha.
So it happened at the end of Mercury Dasha. So Mercury Dasha, Mercury Antardasha, the event happened between January 25 and February 4. Okay. So Mercury is the one who gave the result, good or bad. What kind of changes will Mercury give?
There is 8th Lord and 11th Lord in 12th house.
Yeah,
You can give shock in the case of career.
he can give.
You can give gains in the career as well as sudden shock.
Okay, 8th Lord, what will he give? Sudden shock? Yeah.
Shock. Then is in 11th.
Does 8th Lord always give a negative shock or can it be a positive shock also?
Positive shock also. You can give.
Forget what you know about his case. In
No,
general.
in general, you can give any shock.
Yeah, anything basically unexpected. Unexpected, unplanned things are given by the 8th Lord. And 11th house, he wants the 11th house of gains.
Okay.
Now where is he placed?
He's in 12th house.
He is in the 12th house. Basically, is he a functional benefic or a functional malefic for this Lagna? Malefic.
Yeah.
Because he is the 8th and 11th Lord. So if the malefic is in the 12th house, is it good or bad?
Good.
It's good. So it's actually Viparit Rajyoga. Mercury, 8th Lord being in the 12th house.
And then second, Mars is in second house of resources, which is Hora Lord for this year.
Yeah.
And then he's Lagna.
Right. But let's ignore the Hora Lord because his Dasha is not running right now. Whatever the Hora Lord promises may have happened earlier or it may happen later.
It was
So,
close actually. Mars was January 25th. It was ending.
okay.
And then
No, I'm not talking about the Antardasha.
Okay.
I'm just talking about the ruler of the year will give the most important event of the year, but that will come during his Dasha. So that may be something else. This may or may not be the most important event of the year. But what kind of event is it? So do you guys think it's good or bad? 8th Lord in the 12th house. Is it a good change or bad change? Is it change first of all? Do you think it's some kind of change?
Yes.
You guys know. Somebody else.
No, I also predicted.
Because
I
you-
on that.
He doesn't know.
He doesn't know.
I
Oh,
just
okay.
predicted.
Oh, good. Okay, that's good. Then. Because you guys were discussing, I thought.
No, we were like this. We were
Okay. How is Mercury placed in the Rasi chart? Because that is the physical. This is the professional environment. So in the professional environment, there is some kind of change, some kind of disturbance, some kind of shock, some kind of unexpected event. But it may be for his good.
Yeah.
But this is the physical existence, overall physical existence. And what is the impact of this event on the physical existence of the native? Is Mercury well placed or badly placed? What is the result given by Mercury here? What houses does he own?
His third house and 12th and third.
Yeah. Third lord and the 12th lord, and where is he placed?
Second house.
He is placed in the second house.
So it's good that.
Whose results will Mercury give?
Uh,
As far as physical existence is concerned. As far as Rasi chart is concerned, Mercury is with 3 other planets. So they will exchange results.
He will exchange with sun.
He will exchange with Sun, okay. Why? What is the order of beneficence if you arrange the 4 planets?
Jupiter, Sun, Mars.
No, not Sun. Jupiter.
Mercury,
Who is the second benefic?
Mars. No.
Who is most beneficial out of other planets? If you leave out Jupiter, Sun, Mars and Mercury, who is the most beneficial?
Okay. Mercury.
Yeah, so Jupiter, Mercury,
Mercury.
then
Sun and
Sun,
Mars.
and Mars is the worst benefic.
Yeah.
So when you arrange in this order, exchange the first and last, second from last. So Jupiter will end up giving the results of Mars, Mars will end up giving the results of Jupiter, Sun will end up giving the results of Mercury, Mercury will end up giving the results of Sun. So as far as physical existence is concerned, Mercury is going to give the results of Sun during his Dasha and Antardasha. And are they good results or bad results?
Good. Sun is in one house and
Sun is second lord in the second house. Second lord, basically second house of money, second house of resources. Yeah. So Sun is well placed. Sun is well placed. And we are only looking from Lagna so far. From Lagna, he is in the second house, second lord. But when you are looking at the material status, his image, what is more important than Lagna? Arudha Lagna, AL. Lagna is who he is, what he is doing. Arudha Lagna is who he is perceived to be by the whole world. That is his Maya, that is the image of the person. So look at Arudha Lagna. From Arudha Lagna, all these planets are in the 11th house. So planets in the 11th from Arudha Lagna should give some gain. Yeah, some increase in the physical image, some increase in the material status, on ground status. So looking at that, do you again correlating this with the Dashamsha, do you think it was a positive change or a negative change?
positive gain.
Okay, good. Now, what else do you want to see? Are you done with Tithi Pravesha?
No. No, we haven't, we haven't discussed about A10 and GL.
Yeah, A10.
GL, forget it.
A10 we need to.
Ghatika Lagna, in the Rasi chart, it changes once in every 24 minutes. In Dashamsha, it changes once in every 2 minutes. So we may or may not be right on that Ghatika Lagna. If it is right, then that's good. Planets in Ghatika Lagna usually give position. They give authority. They give power. They make the person more powerful. So if Ghatika Lagna is there, that's good. But we can't be 100% sure. It could be off. So usually my advice is don't use Hora Lagna and Ghatika Lagna in the divisional charts. Use them only in the Rasi chart. Okay. What else? A10 and A2 are there. So he's impacting A10 and A2. What is the meaning of that? A10 is Rajapada, basically.
Shows karma that is recognized by.
It's basically the formal job. A10 is a formal job. So Mercury is in that house. So what does he promise? He's the 8th Lord. 8th Lord always promises, his agenda is change. He's the 8th and 11th Lord. So change, he brings changes. And how does he bring changes? What are the arudhas that are impacted by this change? A10 and A2. So there can be some changes in the formal job, the formal work that he is doing. 10th house is the work that you do. 18 is the manifestation of the work that you do. So it's the formal classification of what work is he doing. Is he a software engineer? Is he a principal software engineer? Is he doing software work at Microsoft? Is he doing quality assurance? Is he doing this? Is he doing that? So when you say he's doing good work, he's doing good karma, he's an engineer, it's not really a tangible thing. When I say he's working as a senior quality assurance engineer, when he's working as a senior manager, when he's working as a director, when he's doing this, when he's doing that, that particular thing, specific thing is specific. It is tangible. It is a tangible thing. Doing good work is not a tangible thing. But working as a principal engineer is a tangible thing. So A10 is basically the tangible aspect of your karma. It is your formal job. It is the formal classification of your job. It's so-and-so engineer at so-and-so company. That is A10. So if the 8th Lord is in A10, there will be some changes or some disturbance or some uncertainty relating to the formal job. So usually, I don't know about his case, but usually when you see 8th Lord in A10, we can expect some changes in the status during that time. During that particular dasha, he may get a promotion or he may get a demotion or his role may change. His title may change. Even if title doesn't change, he may be still software engineer, but until then he may be in development. Now he may start doing quality assurance work, or he may start doing diagnostics, he may start doing something else. So 8th Lord in A10 can give some changes in the actual, tangible job that you are doing. Okay, what else? Do you want to see anything else? Do you want to see from Arudha Lagna? Because, like we said, Arudha Lagna is the status. So if you look from Arudha Lagna, Mercury is placed in the 10th house. Is it a good placement for Mercury?
Yes.
Yes, it's a good placement. So basically, as far as the image is concerned, during Mercury Dasha, Mercury Antardasha, the image will be that of somebody who is doing good, intelligent work. Mercury basically gives the, yes.
Are you taking Mercury as a benefit planet?
Yes.
Not natural benefit, not the functional nature.
Yes.
What does that mean?
What he said is, Mercury is basically the 8th Lord. So he is a male fig. So if you say, if you look at Mercury in the 10th from Arudha Lagna, he's saying shouldn't it be bad. When I say intelligent work, etc., I'm not looking at whether he's functionally benefic or male fig. He is Mercury. And Mercury shows a smart person, somebody who is intelligent, who analyzes well. So that's what Mercury shows. So that Mercury in Libra in a friendly house, Mercury is in a friendly house. Actually, is he in a friendly house or a very friendly house? Is he in Mitrasthana or Adhimitrasthana? Who remembers Adhimitra? Pardon me? Venus is friend, but is he a good friend? Is he an Adhimitra? Do you remember? We had permanent relationships and we had temporary. Who is the temporary friend?
Next 3 houses either side.
Yes, either side, next 3 houses. So from Mercury, if you see next 3 houses and next 3 houses here, Virgo, Leo, Cancer, and here Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn. Is Venus in one of those houses?
Yes.
He is, so he is a friend. He's a temporary friend. Yeah, 1 plus 1. Temporary friend and originally permanent friend. So together, he compound relationships wise also, he is a friend. He is a very good friend actually. If he is friend both the ways, he becomes very good friend. So Venus is a very good friend, Adhimitra. So Mercury is in an Adhimitra sthana and he is in the 10th from Arudha Lagna. So the image people have of this person as far as work is concerned is that of a positive image of somebody who is intelligent, somebody who is very good in analysis, good in logic, somebody who is smart. But at the same time, the same Mercury is 8th Lord and 11th Lord. So you have to use both. Naisargika shows what kind of image. But functional nature wise, Mercury is a planet who shows change, who shows uncertainty. So again, that will also have an impact. He will be seen to be an intelligent person, that is definitely true. But at the same time, what is he doing, how is he doing, regarding that there will be some uncertainty. There will be some big changes basically. Because he is the 8th Lord and he is in A10 as well as 10th from Arudha Lagna. So as far as the image of work that he is doing as well as the actual job that he is doing, in both the things there will be some uncertainty, there will be some changes during this time. So when you see 8th Lord associating with 10th house or A10 or the 10th from Arudha Lagna, any one of them or 2 of them or all the 3 of them, if you see that there will be some big changes during that particular phase in career. Now are you done with Tithi Pravesha or do you want to see something more, Palani?
It is also in A2, right? A2
Yeah.
is also there.
So what is the meaning of A2? Second house is the house of resources and A2, a planet in A2 will show
Natural resources.
the actual resources that are at your command, the tangible resources that are at your command. So it may be a computer that you are given at work to do your work, or it may be somebody that helps you. It may be if you are a software engineer, there may be a quality assurance engineer who's helping you. He may not really be your subordinate, he's just your colleague, but at the same time, he and all the equipment he has is a resource for your work. So A2 is all the tangible resources that you use in your work, and Mercury is impacting that. So there is a change in the tangible resources that you have, the actual work that you are doing, and the resources that you are using to do your work. There is a tangible change. So there is some uncertainty, either change or some uncertainty relating to that. You may be thinking that you are going to get a particular resource for doing your work, and there may be a lot of tension. Somebody else may want that person, and you may worry, am I going to get this guy or not? Otherwise, we have to send a new rec and hire somebody else. And finally, you may get that guy. So that kind of things are possible when you see 8th Lord impacting A2. A2E is all the resources that you need for your work. It can be computers, it can be equipment, it can be software, it can be hardware, it can be people. Now,
But it also is in the 12th house, which is the house of giving, right?
yeah,
So what is that?
planet in the 12th house usually can show giving. You can give up something, you can compromise, you can lose something also.
Right.
But because it is the 8th Lord who is in the 12th house, it ends up being good.
So bad you are giving up.
You are basically letting bad go,
Okay.
letting the tensions go. But you can't let tensions go unless you have some tensions. So Mercury will give some tensions. But at the end, the 8th Lord being in the 12th, so you are giving away those tensions at the end. So he will give a lot of suffering, lot of frustration, but finally the frustration will be overcome and you will actually gain. The tension will be somebody else's. You will give it away to somebody else.
It can also mean foreign land, right? Because if this chart was seen in some other country,
Yes. Yeah.
from his birth country,
Yeah.
they can identify that it could happen in a foreign land.
Any planet, basically, any yoga that you see in the 12th house, that yoga can manifest in a faraway place. But we are looking in the context of 1 year in which we know something about the person. So we can rule that out. Anything else? Good for me. Sahmas. See, he is very strict. Usually teachers are strict. They tell students, do this, do this. But here I want to skip and go to the next thing. But he says, do this, do this. Okay, Sahmas. Now, Mercury is, where is Mercury?
Mercury
He is in Leo, but at what degrees? Mercury is at 8:47. 8 degrees 47 minutes in Leo. Now let's see if there are any Sahamas close to Mercury. Anything in Leo? I think I should give a view in which it shows how close each Sahamam is from a planet. Basically, arranged in the order of distance. Yeah, that will be a good. Nothing is near Sun, near Mercury. Is there anything in Gemini Virgo, the signs owned by Mercury?
Virgo there.
Okay.
Vyapara Sahamam.
Asha Sahamam. So Asha is basically hopes and desires. Bhratra Sahamam, brother.
Vyapara Sahamam.
Raja Sahamam, position. Putra Sahamam, not. Jiva Sahamam, basically overall career and karma, livelihood.
Vivaha Sahamam.
Artha Sahamam, money. So, one thing that you should be looking at is, look at, usually you don't find so many Sahamas, but here you find so many areas of life being touched by Mercury. Usually you don't find so many, you find 2 or 3. And what you should be,
Virgo though?
pardon me?
Why are you checking it with Virgo?
Because Mercury owns it.
Mercury.
Oh, yes. Think of it.
Because there is nothing in Leo.
Nothing in Leo. See,
So we should-
if there is a, not only so, you should look at all actually. Even if there is something in Leo, you can look at Gemini Virgo. So look at the Sahamas that are owned by the planet, which are in the signs owned by the planet, and look at the Sahamas which are close to that planet, and that are aspected by that planet also, but the list increases. So let's focus on these. The Sahamas where, in the sign where the planet is, the planet doesn't have any responsibility towards them, but he has the power to influence it. It's like, I'm sitting in this room, it's not my room, I don't have any power over this room, but I can alter it. I can move this table from here to there, I can maybe break a chair if I'm bad, or if I'm good, maybe bring a new chair and put it because one chair is broken. So I can do all these things. So that is analogous to a planet occupying a house. He doesn't have any responsibility towards it, but those are the resources he is given. Those are the things that he is allowed to impact. On the other hand, the signs owned by a planet are his responsibility. Those are his agenda. So even though I am sitting in this house, if something happens in my house, I am concerned about it. I'll be making phone calls to fix the problem if there is a problem at my house. So that is basically analogous to the houses owned by the planet. So here, if a Sahamam is close to Mercury, you can say that Mercury is capable of giving results relating to that Sahamam. On the other hand, all the Sahamas that you find in Virgo and Gemini, Mercury has a responsibility towards those Sahamas. He wants to give results relating to all those areas of life. But is he able to give or not? That depends on not how close. Now we are not talking about closeness. We are talking about signs owned by him. You are talking about Gemini and Virgo. So whether he will give the responsibilities given by Gemini and Virgo, that depends on who he is associating with. what kind of company is he in, and what are the resources at his disposal. So he's in the second house with all these planets. So if you see that the Lord of the Vivaha Sahamam is with Venus, then he can give marriage. If the Lord of Vivaha Sahamam, if he is with the seventh Lord, he can give marriage. If he is in the seventh house, he can give marriage. Right? Similarly here, out of all the Sahamas that we saw marriage, we saw...
There is one Paradara Sahamam.
I saw it, but I did not say it. The difference is you saw it, I saw it. You said it, I did not say it.
We derive a Saham from traditional charts. In the
Paradara Sahamam.
You derive a Saham from the traditional charts, not the derived.
Okay, so what you are saying is there are actually two ways of doing it.
Yeah.
One is look at the longitudes in the divisional charts and use those to derive the Sahamam.
Right.
Is that what you are saying? Or the second thing is look at this longitude. For example, let us take where is Rajya Sahamam? Rajya Sahamam is at 2 degrees 48 minutes in Virgo, right? So if you see, if you look at that point, if you want to place it in Dashamsha, it will be in Taurus, if you do the math. So you can place that Sahamam in Taurus. That is one way. Which way are you talking about?
I'm saying to derive the Saham not just from the Raki chart, but from the divisional chart.
So you are suggesting look at the longitudes in the divisional chart.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that
That's a good idea. It's something that I haven't really researched into. It's a very good idea. You should try it. Okay. Good. So the Sahamams that we saw, what are the Sahamams? We saw things relating to aspirations, brothers. Then we saw Raja Sahamam, which is power. And we saw, what else did we see?
Jiva Sahamam,
Jiva is basically livelihood. Shraddha is dedication.
Vivaha Sahamam, Vyapara Sahamam,
Yeah.
and
Okay, these are the Sahamams that we saw. Now, out of those, which are likely to fructify? Which ones Nitri is likely to give? See which planets Nitri is with. And who really dominates there? Out of all the influences on Nitri, who dominates? Sun. When I am at a place with the landlord of that place, I will basically be doing everything I do is decided by that landlord. So Sun, being the lord of the house and being with all these planets, and also being the natural king, he will tell everybody what to do. That is Sun's job. That is what Sun likes. So Sun will really dominate. And what is Sun's agenda? He is basically the Karaka for power, Karaka for position, and also he is the second lord here of money. Second lord of resources and money. So Artha Sahamam was one of the Sahamams. And Raja Sahamam and Jiva Sahamam were one of the Sahamams. So Vyapara Sahamam is also there. That's a good point.
but like here we consider more of Rajya Sahamam or Vyapara.
Because of Mars, if Mars is strong, Mars is the planet for enterprise.
Okay.
And Mercury is the planet for trading. If Mars and Mercury are stronger, then the results of Vyapara Sahamam can be given. But here Sun is strong. Sun is not a trader. He is not a Vaishya. Trading is basically a Vaishya thing. And Mercury is the Vaishya. And Mars is the aggressive guy. Mars is the risk taker. Mars is the military guy. So if Mercury and Mars are together, and if they are strong, then you can say that Vyapara Sahamam result will fructify or other Sahamams. But here, Sun is the strongest planet. So what you can guess is
Rajya Sahamam.
Raja Sahamam, Artha Sahamam, because it's the second lord. So some impact on the financial position, some impact on money that can be given by Mercury, and also some impact on the position of the
More number of people reporting here.
something like that. Yeah. That kind of things are possible. So that is what you would expect based on the Sahamas. Is there anything else you want to say, Palani?
Amsha ruler.
Okay. Okay. Amsha ruler. Mercury is in Yamamsha. So what does it show? What does a planet in Yamamsha show? Beautiful. What? Right, yes, but more than right, yes, basically beautiful. Doing things impassionately. Yama is the planet of, God of Dharma. Just uphold Dharma with no passion. If you have passion, you can't uphold Dharma. If somebody is destined to die, let him, finish the life. And then after that, if he is destined to suffer for 100 years, send him into the rotting place for 100 years. That is Yama. So if you have to basically met out punishment or let somebody suffer, basically let somebody suffer without any passion. That is Yama. So Mercury is in Yama Samsa. Is there anything else you want to see? So basically there may be some changes, because we saw based on other things that there will be some changes which will be beneficial to the native. So those changes may also require him to be very impassionate. Go through what is happening without any emotion.
He's in charge of layoffs.
Possible. Yeah.
Now, do we know now that the change is for its beneficial one, or
We saw that based on the first thing that we saw, 8th Lord Mercury in the 12th house. In the
some good change in his career?
Some good change in his career, some tension, but at the end it was actually good for him. Now, do you want to use any other technique? Do you want to use Narayan Dasa?
Yes, I was about to ask. In Tithi Pravesha also we can use Narayan Dasa.
We can, but Tithi Ashtapadi is much better. Okay.
That was good actually. Narayan Dasa was good.
But Narayan Dasa would give you a broader scope, more definite thing, but not in the very short time frame. Right?
For me? Yeah.
But if you want to look at the short time frame like last week.
But if what happened in the last week is a very important event in the whole year, then it will show up in Narayan Dasa also.
Actually, yeah.
See, it is Leo. Okay. So results of Leo will be given. Okay, let us go back to the natal chart and let's do Narayan Dasa.
Narayan Dasa is Capricorn.
So right now what Narayan Dasa is running? Capricorn Narayan Dasa. So overall how is Capricorn? Let's judge Capricorn overall. Our Dasa starting from Lagna or 7th house? Lagna, not Lagna. Dasas are starting from the 7th house from Lagna. So keep that in mind. Now second thing. How is Capricorn Dasa? During Capricorn Dasa, Narayana is in Capricorn. And Capricorn is the 2nd house. The 2nd house, it has Shani and Guru, 2nd Lord and Lagna Lord.
Lagna is in Cancer. Progress Lagna.
Progress Lagna is in Cancer. Right. Okay. So Progress Lagna is in Cancer. During Capricorn Dasa, the Progress 7th house is in Capricorn, which means Progress Lagna is in Cancer. So take Cancer as Lagna and judge the whole chart. What can you say based on it? First of all, during this Dasa, will there be a lot of interest in occult subjects?
Yes.
Why? Ketu in the 8th. Ketu is the Karka for occult knowledge, and 8th house is the house of occult knowledge. If you see Ketu in the 8th house from Dasa sign, you can say that there will be some occult study. But of course, if the person is not into occult at all, it won't happen. So see if that indication is there in the Rashi chart, natal chart. If it is there, during this Dasa, it will be at a peak. So that is Ketu in the 8th house, so some interest in the occult, especially Aquarius is a philosophical sign. So if Ketu is in Aquarius, very likely to have interest in philosophy and occult subjects. Now what else? The 2nd house has Sun and Rahu. What can you say based on it? Yeah? Basically, 2nd house strong or weak? Weak. Let's just be honest. Let's forget that this is Seshugaru's chart. 2nd house is weak during this Dasa. And 2nd house basically is eclipsed. 2nd Lord Sun is eclipsed by the 8th Lord Rahu. So, in the family life, do you think that family life will be very smooth during this time, or there will be a lot of changes, lot of upheaval? Yes. Now, 3rd house is good. How is the 3rd house?
Is good.
Why is it good?
Third house is exalted.
For me? 1 second. Yeah, Mercury is exalted. 3rd Lord is exalted in the 3rd house, and Yokarka is there. But 3rd house is a good house for malefic planets and not for benefic. Is Mercury a benefic or malefic here?
Well, with Mars Mercury takes the shape.
Who remembers the exact rule of Mercury? Is he a benefic or malefic? Or both?
He can be both. If it's just by himself, it's a benefit, but if it's
Depends upon his whom he is.
planet, then he's been.
Right. He changes his color based on who he is with. If he is with malefics, he is malefic. If he is with benefics, he is benefic. He is very flexible. Out of all the planets, Mercury is the most flexible planet. Now, so there are 2 malefic planets in the 3rd house. That is a good house for malefics to be. And one of them is exalted, one of them is in one house. One of them is Yogarka. So it's overall a period of it's overall a period of recognition and good karma, because Mars is the 10th lord and the 5th lord. So there will be recognition, there will be good position, and there will be good karma. But the thing is, when the 10th lord is in the 3rd house, what are the results for that? 10th lord being in the 3rd house.
Can give short term.
Yeah. Usually you can expect that person to be into contracts. 10th lord in the 3rd is the house of short breaks or short jobs. So that person may not be in a full-time job. I know that that's not true for you, but in general, if 10th lord is in the 3rd house, they can be into contracts, they can be in temporary jobs, and there can be several breaks. There can be small breaks in the career during that time. He could keep changing places, or he could travel a lot. 10th lord in the 3rd house means such a person can travel a lot on job, because 3rd house is the house of travel. And his agenda, 10th lord's agenda is to give work. And 3rd house, being in the 3rd house, what he is capable of giving is travel. So he will use the travel for work. So that is how planets use the resources given to them based on which house they are in to further their agenda, which is based on which houses they own. So it can,
also the house of initiative.
yes,
So you give a lot of drive.
there will be a lot of drive in work. I mean, without drive, why would somebody travel a lot on work? There is a link between everything. 3rd house is the house of drive, and 3rd house is also the house of drive. Okay. Now, moon is in the 5th house. The Lagna Lord moon is debilitated in the 5th house. So, is it good or bad? Bad. Just checking. What does it show? Yes. It's basically any debilitated planet in the 5th house. 5th house is the house of emotion. It's the house of emotions, it's the house of wisdom, it's the house of judgment. So in the house of emotions, the planet of emotions, moon, the planet of mind, he is debilitated there. And he is Lagna Lord. Basically Lagna Lord is debilitated in the house of emotions. So this is a period of lot of emotional drain basically. That's a good word. It's a dasha of emotional drain. What else can you say? Shani and Guru in the 7th house. Is it a good? What kind of aspirations will he have in this dasha? The aspirations of a person are seen from the 7th house from the dasha lagna. 7th house is the house of desire. What kind of desires does he have?
Jupiter is a lot of the 6th house.
And the 9th house.
And the 9th house.
Yeah.
So dharmic and
That time he give you in his own house, he's going to give him a lot of hard work, labor.
Yeah, but when you are looking at what kind of desires, just look at the nature of the planet. If there is sun in the 7th from dasha sign, there will be a lot of desire of power. The person will be power hungry. If there is Mercury, let us say, in the 7th, the person will be hungry for knowledge, hungry for learning. So, looking at the 7th from dasha sign, you can see what kind of desire the person has. So, what kind of desire do you see? Shani and Guru kind of desire. What are their natural significations?
wisdom.
Guru basically wisdom and traditional knowledge. So, there is a lot of desire for traditional knowledge, Vedic knowledge.
A very strong desire.
Because Saturn and Jupiter together.
I know both are retrograde.
Retrograde. Planets that are retrograde show strong desires from past lives. So when you see, that's a good point. When you see any retrograde planet in the 7th house from dasha sign, the desire will come like a flood, as though it has been buried for a few lives or a long time. It will come like a flood. So the desire for Shani will also show desire for renunciation, desire for basically detachment. Shani is the planet of detachment and renunciation. So there will be some desire to go away from the whole, from all this materialism. That desire will be strong. And Jupiter, he will give a desire. He will give a desire for traditional knowledge, Vedic wisdom, etc. Now,
Debilitated Jupiter means.
we will come to that. So now we are done with the desire, with seeing what kind of desires will be given. Now let us look at those planets as just two planets, not the planets who are showing desire. Now look at what houses they own. Jupiter owns 6th house and 9th house. And he is debilitated but retrograde. If a planet is debilitated but retrograde, what kind of results will he give? As if he was exalted. On the other hand, if a planet is exalted and retrograde, he will give results as if he was debilitated. So Jupiter is practically exalted there. Is that good for overcoming obstacles? As far as 6th house is concerned, from Cancer, the 6th Lord Jupiter was debilitated, which was good. It was part of Jai Yoga. 6th Lord is debilitated. What is the other part of Jaya Yoga?
10th Lord strong.
10th Lord should be strong, exalted theoretically. The strict rule. Here 10th Lord is not exalted, but he is with an exalted planet. So he does have Jaya Yoga and Cancer in Kepigan Dasa, when you take Cancer as Lagna. But the problem is Jupiter has Nicha Bhanga. He is in Nicha, but he has Nicha Bhanga because of retrogression. So he gives results as if he is exalted. So 6th Lord exalted is not good. So Jaya Yoga is actually broken. There is Jaya Yoga Bhanga basically. There is a yoga for victory, but there is a breakage in that yoga. So things will go smoothly, but there can be some big disappointments also. So unfortunately, as far as 6th house is concerned, Jupiter does not promise good results for it. But as far as 9th house is concerned, is 9th Lord's debilitation good?
No.
9th house is the house of Dharma. 9th Lord being in Nicha is not good. But 9th Lord being in Ucha, is it good?
Good.
It is good. So Jupiter having Nicha Bhanga, being in Nicha and having retrogression, that is bad for material things, overcoming enemies. But it is good for Dharma. Now secondarily, being the 9th Lord in the 7th house with the 7th Lord, does he give any yoga? He gives a Raj Yoga. What kind of Raj Yoga will it be?
Vimala.
What?
Vimala.
No. What is Vimala? No.
Venus.
Moon and Venus what?
I don't want to.
Okay. Okay, Vimala Yoga is basically 12th Lord in the 12th house. Harsha Yoga is 6th Lord in 6th. Sarala Yoga is 8th Lord in 8th. Vimala Yoga is 12th Lord in 12th. So this is not Vimala Yoga, but it's just a Raj Yoga. There is no name for it. 7th Lord and 9th Lord together is a Raj Yoga. But what kind of results will it give? It will basically bring the 7th house and 9th house results together. What is the meaning? 9th house is Dharma, 7th house is desire. Desire and also interactions and associations. So when it comes to dharmic interactions relating to Dharma, there is a Raj Yoga during this time, during this period. During this Dasha, there will be a Raj Yoga for sure. Okay.
Entry, Pravesh chart.
It's not entry Pravesh chart, it's just Pravesh chart or entry chart.
Entry slash.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Analyze Capricorn from with respect to Lagna, actual Lagna.
Yeah. Capricorn with respect to Lagna, basically 2nd house, so a lot of money, lot of resources. So Narayana, Palani's point was, we directly jumped to Cancer as Lagna and analyzed from Cancer. We did not analyze from Capricorn itself. That was our first step, if you remember. Second step is taking it as Lagna. So based on the first step, Narayana is in Capricorn, and Capricorn has the 2nd Lord and Lagna Lord, and especially 2nd Lord is strong there, Shani. So basically, he will make money. He will have money and resources.
But Lagna Lord also is 4th Lord, so it gives him a lot of comfort. So there's Narayana is going to trigger Jupiter also.
Yes.
So 4th Lord is comfort, very close around.
Yes. He'll have good comforts. And he's Lagna Lord also, so he'll be intelligent. His intelligence will improve. Lagna is your very intelligence. So intelligence will improve. His comforts will improve during this Dasha, and he will have money, he will have resources. So that is what Narayana promises.
Do we also take the reference from Madhu Lagna here, 12 from Madhu Lagna?
There are so many things we can do, but just use the 3 principles I said. Where is Narayana? Take Lagna and judge, and third thing is Dasha Pravesha to see individual Antardasha. With that you can give 80% of the results. So forget about other things. We'll slowly get into that. Forget Arut Lagna. Okay, entry Pravesh, entry slash Pravesha. Okay. So that chart has Gemini Lagna. How much leeway do we have? 1:45, 24 minutes. So we are safe. So it's not on a border. Usually it's not on a border, but it may so happen that a particular Dasha Pravesh Chakra, particular period entry chart was right on the border. So in that case, you have to pay attention. So always when you see any chart, it's a good idea to see how much leeway you have on both the sides. Now, the Antardasha that is running right now, he is running Scorpio Antardasha right now. Right? Capricorn, Scorpio. What kind of results will Scorpio give?
Sixth Lord and Lagna.
6th Lord is in Lagna. So what are the results of it? It's basically, it will give the results of 6th house. And its Lord is in Lagna. So what overall during this whole year, what is the result that you would expect?
We'll overcome a lot of difficulties.
There will be a lot of obstacles, lot of work to do, lot of hard work, and he will work hard basically during this whole Antardasha.
And the Capricorn is the 8th house.
Pardon me?
We are looking Narandasha for Capricorn. That means
Yes.
Antardasha.
We are looking at Antardashas.
Capricorn, the Scorpio is like
Scorpio 6 months.
we could call it a 10th house.
What would you expect, for example, in Libra Dasha, Libra Antardasha?
His ability is like 5th house. Of course,
Yeah.
Rahu Chandala Yoga is there because of Rahu.
Because of Rahu, Guru Chandala Yoga is there, and the presence of Venus and the fact that this is Venus house, will it increase Guru Chandala Yoga? Will it make Rahu stronger or Jupiter? Rahu is much stronger now because Venus is the teacher of demons and Rahu is his favorite bad guy, his favorite demon, and they both go together. Yeah, pounding on Jupiter. So this is Guru Chandala Yoga, aided by Venus, supported by Venus. So Jupiter will
Not dominated.
Jupiter is not dominated. Jupiter struggles. Jupiter is suppressed basically. Now basically what will be the focus during this Antardasha, Libra Antardasha, during 2003 September to 2004 September? What will be the main event during that 1 year? Will it relate to career? Will it relate to child? Will it relate to wife? What will it relate to?
Child. 5th house is
5th house is children. So is it good for children?
no.
Well, question is Rahu is there, but Venus and Rahu are both strong.
Yeah.
So is that good or bad?
Whose agenda is child here? Venus.
is strong.
So he is strong. He is aided by Rahu there, his friend Rahu. So as far as child is concerned, it is good. It is a good period for child, but it is good in a Rahu way, Venus Rahu way. So yes, do you expect some changes in child's life?
Yes.
Because there is a big tug of war going on between Jupiter, Rahu, Venus, etc. So it's not good during the Antardasha. You can expect some changes in child's life,
And the child's life will be more in a Rahu way because
more in a Venus way.
Venus
See, the thing is, Rahu himself is different from Venus with Rahu. Venus is the guru. So, he's the guru of Rakshasa. So, he will keep the Rakshasa in check. So, when Venus and Rahu are together, Jupiter may be broken. Jupiter may have to leave. That's a different matter. But still, Rahu will not do really terrible things. So, Rahu, the Rakshasa, will basically be kept under check by Venus. And Venus is also, you have to remember that Venus is not only the teacher of demons, but he's a great yogi. If you want, we talked about Tapasya Yoga earlier. Who are the planets who give it? Venus, Saturn and Ketu. Venus is basically, he is a great yogi, Mahayogi. Out of all the Maharshis, do you know who Vishnu says he is? He doesn't say, I am Jupiter among all the Rishis, or I am Vasishtha among all Rishis. Rishinam, who is he? Not Kavi. Rishinam, Bhrigu. So he says that he is Bhrigu among all the Rishis. And Venus is that Bhrigu's son. So Venus is a great Maharshi. So when you see a strong Venus influence on the 5th house, during that period the sun may be very disciplined. He may go into yoga, etc. also. So but whatever it is, looking at the tug of war in the 5th house, you can expect some big changes in child's life. If you look at Saptansha, you can give more clear results. But just based on this, there will be some important events happening in child's life. What about wife? Is it a good period for husband and wife, the marital relationship?
No, because 7th house Lord is Jupiter.
Yes, you have to realize that when you look at Antardasha, don't just see what house it is. See what house lords are there. So 7th Lord Jupiter is there, but he is totally destroyed there by Venus and Rahu. So during this Dasha, it is an important Dasha for child, and for marital relationship it's not such a good Antardasha. There will be some tension relating to marriage. Now what are the other lords who are here? Rahu, who is the lord of? 9th house. So 9th Lord Rahu is also there. Is he good or bad? He is strong. He is basically with Venus. So is it a good period for Dharma? So that Antardasha is a very good Antardasha for Dharma, very good Antardasha for children, but a not so good Antardasha for spouse. Either for spouse or for the marital relationship. It may be that relationship is good, but wife has a disease or something. There is some tension about wife. Or it is also possible that wife is healthy, but we have tension about wife. If you want to clearly see which one it is, you have to go to Navamsa. Realize that you are looking at Narayan Dasha of Rashi chart. It is valid for everybody born in the 2-hour period. So there will be some patterns that are similar between you and other people who are born in the same 2-hour period. But the exact manifestation may be different based on other factors, based on the Navamsa, based on the Dashamsa, etc. So this is how you can see. And right now,
It is also the house of abilities also.
yes,
Recognition abilities.
yeah,
So all those will also flourish.
yeah, they will flourish. During that time, his capabilities will basically be recognized well. Yes.
Even 10th Lord, Jupiter is also 10th Lord, so even...
But it is bad. 10th Lord, being the 7th Lord, he can give some problems in marriage. Being the 10th Lord, having Guru Chandala, can there be some kind of career-related problem? Yes. You were laid off once during that Antardasha, right? Towards the end of that Antardasha. That is quite possible. If you see, in the Dasha Pravesh Chakra, if you see Jupiter associating with the 10th house and having Guru Chandala Yoga, you can say there will be some death-like situation in career.
And from the boss. It can come from the boss. Right?
That can come from Bhav because Rahu is 9th Lord. Is that how you are saying? Very good. Excellent. Okay. What do you want to do now?
The next one, current one.
Before we do anything, let me restart. Scorpio we already saw. We said that this whole Antardasha is basically an Antardasha of obstacles, some enmities, etc. And he will overcome those. That's what we said. But do you think that there is enough in the Narayan Dasha to pinpoint what happened in this particular week?
So what I mean to say, Scorpio entry chart, did we see?
Yeah, to see further division?
Oh, okay.
Well, you can, but let's stick to Antardashas for now. And if you want to focus on a particular period, let's look at Tithi Pravesha. That is how we will do for a few more months. That's not going to present Antardasha.
We saw some change in the job and which is resulting going to be good.
Yeah.
And then some gains.
Yeah. So, anybody in the class wants to add any more thoughts before Seshugaru tells us what happened to him?
So we can expect a treat. He got resource of money.
Yeah. So, Arthasamam and Rajasam, some increase in position at some, but usually when you see Viparita Raj Yoga, the increase in position is at somebody's cost.
Yeah.
Scorpio Antardasha?
We did.
The Dasha Pravesha?
In the Dasha Pravesh Chakra. What we saw was, Scorpio was the 6th house and its Lord was in, one Lord in 11th house of gains, one Lord in Lagna. So if 6th Lord goes into Lagna, what does it mean? Lot of obstacles, and basically the Lord, Mars, whose agenda is obstacles, he is sitting on your head. Lagna is your head, your intelligence. So he impacts your intelligence. So you have to basically use your head always to fight off, ward off evils, fight off troubles. So overall this year is a year of obstacles, and he will be working hard to overcome those obstacles. Okay.
But do you want to go to Tithi Pravesha? That's where Rajan and Sriram were looking at it. And
Yeah.
we timed events and how the result could be
Yeah.
from the Tithi Pravesha actually.
We did it at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
That's what we did in the beginning. We saw Mercury.
So the thing that exactly happened, which I didn't have a clue last week around this time,
Yeah,
is last Sunday somebody called me, set up an interview on Wednesday.
yeah,
The results on Thursday morning,
yeah,
offer letter on Thursday evening.
yeah.
I gave my notice on my existing job on Friday.
Uh-huh.
So all these things happened in 4 days.
Exactly 4 days. Good. Does it involve more money and more position?
It involves more money because it's less money than what I make.
Yeah.
But it is overall more into my pocket because I save on Nasdaq, I save on
Yeah. Okay.
accommodation, I save on commute.
Okay. This is in New Hampshire itself.
It's very important.
So you don't have to commute 60 miles or 50
No, I
miles.
commute 8 miles, 7 miles, 6 miles.
Okay. So you also accepted the offer.
I accepted the offer and gave notice at this place yesterday, the day before. So.
Okay. Okay. So what we said is 8th Lord in the 8 and we said that 8 is the formal job. There will be some change in the formal job, like from principal engineer you become something else, manager, or from software engineer you become diagnostics engineer, or from engineer at Microsoft you become engineer at IBM. Some change in the tangible aspect of the job we said will happen if your 8th lord is in the 8th, so that indeed happened. Okay.
Change the job and more money left over.
Yeah.
And other things are right too about the emotional drain and the change of other things. Everything is true.
Yeah. Good. So 8th lord basically gave a change. The 8th lord.
Yeah, was there anything as well as?
Unexpected change. Yeah.
Was there anything that was completely off the track? We were discussing
No,
something on that.
no, it is everything right on.
Okay. Good. So good job, class.
Somebody's call.
Now, anybody else has any thoughts that you were trying to explain and could not explain? We'll take up, because we have half an hour more, we'll take up one more chart. If anybody has anything.
You want to look at my chart. On December 29, something happened.
One second.
One more question.
We like sleep.
Okay.
The data he must be knowing.
No, actually I have the data, but I don't know if it's right. Because your data keeps changing. What is the latest data? What? 5? Whose rectification?
Yours is until
Okay, cool. November 23, 1966, 9:45 a.m. Indian Standard Time, Tiruvallur, India. 79 degrees 55 minutes east, 13 degrees 9 minutes north.
December 29,
On December 29, 2004,
afternoon around 2 o'clock.
afternoon around 2 o'clock.
Three.
No, we don't need.
Want us to drill down to that?
Forget it. So on December 29, is it an important event? Is it a significant event or something small like you drank milk?
Something more significant than drinking milk.
Okay. So an important event happened to him on December 29.
What's his name?
What's his name?
What's your name?
Suresh. Suresh Babu Chandra.
So he met Rajnikant on that day.
What do you want to check out? Aishwarya Rai also? Oh, I didn't know that. You hid it from me.
I knew you would like to find.
Then I wouldn't have criticized her in front of you.
But you were thinking of criticizing?
What?
You were thinking of criticizing Aishwarya?
Yeah. I did it many times in front of her. I don't like her. But let us stick to astrology. Okay.
If Vedas is trying, then
That's it. You want to see, first see this is the Tithi Pravesh chart? No, this is not. Okay, this is the Tithi Pravesh chart. The data is November 22, 2004, 1:47 a.m. Hora Lord is, who is the ruler of year? Jupiter. Jupiter is the ruler of the year. Okay. Let's go to the dashas directly. December 29. So Mercury, Jupiter. Mercury dasha, Jupiter Antardasha is running. Was running at that time. Actually it is still running, Mercury dasha. Now, to make it easier, Suresh, to make it easier for the class, can you roughly give an idea of what area, so that they can focus on the divisional side? For me? Career. So something related to career happened. An important event in career happened. Now, look at D10.
again is
Yeah?
Voga
Bhoga of what? Oh, from Mercury to Jupiter?
Right.
First see what Mercury promises. Forget the Antardasha, Pratyantardasha, Sukmantardasha, Dehantardasha, Pranantardasha. Look at Dasha. Okay, I will remove the present Antardasha. Just look at Dasha. Mercury Dasha is from December 15 to February 13. What kind of results does Mercury show in career?
Second house and fifth house and sitting in the 12th house of Saturn is pretty strong in the 12th.
Oops, 21 seconds later, this Lagna will change. See, this is what I told you. I told you that you should always look at how much leeway you have on both the sides. So irrespective of who rectified it. What? See, 21 seconds later, the Rashi Lagna changes from Leo to Virgo. So now you have to be sure that the time that he gave you is not off by 21 seconds. Unless you use, based on the events that you use, in the natal chart, let me tell you what I mean. Go to natal chart. What is the uncertainty we have here? 1.5 hours and 36 minutes. So just because the Lagna in the Rashi chart, natal Rashi chart is in the middle of a sign, doesn't mean it will be in the middle of a sign every year. So in one particular year, it may be on a border. So you have to look at the leeway you have on both the sides every year in every divisional chart. Then only you can be sure that the data is right. Actually, Suresh, I refuse to analyze this. Yeah, I refuse to put the concepts of the class.
You can try it, right? It could be correct also. It could be a correct rectification.
This time being right. Let's see.
Okay, assume that this time is right.
If it doesn't come, it does come.
You just give it a try. If it's not right, then this time is wrong. He has to go back and figure out the correct time.
Please don't prove to me that I have seen right.
Okay. What do you expect in Mercury and Mercury Dasha?
Second house slot and fifth house slot sitting in 12th house strong with Saturn, along with
Yeah.
the 98.
First of all, whose results will Mercury give in career?
Saturn.
So Mercury will give Saturn results, period. And what are Saturn's results?
Saturn is a lot of the
10th, 9th,
8th and 9th.
Saturn is a lot of
Lot of
9th and 10th.
9th and 10th.
9th and 10th houses. Good or bad?
Pretty good Dharma Karmadipati.
He's Yokarka, not Dharma Karmadipati. You don't say, for Taurus Lagna, 9th and 10th are owned by the same planet. So you don't say Dharma Karmadipati Yoga to some extent, but you say he's a Yokarka. Okay? Basically the planet, same planet has responsibility for both.
But that's never yoga. That's fine.
They say yoga, but it's not a Raj Yoga. You just call him Yokarka. The planet is a good planet. He will bring luck. He will bring success.
And in 12th house of
Okay, irrespective of which house he is in, the Yokarka is always a good planet. So Shani shows good results. But he is in the 12th house. What does 12th house show?
Giving up. You have to give up things.
Giving up something, losing something, compromising something. So it shows something like some letting go.
So let him go in career and in Dharma.
Letting go in career. Basically, we are talking about career.
That is this kind of.
Yeah.
So you'll be giving up hard work.
For me,
You'll be giving up hard work for something. No.
not necessarily.
Regard
Not
to career, he sacrifices.
The natural significance planet never gives away. It gives away is the houses that he owns.
Attributes. Okay.
Ninth Lord in 12th house, so he can give up his boss. That means he can ignore his boss. 10th Lord in 12th house, he can ignore his work. Or he can give up some position or something. So those are possible, but Saturn in 12 doesn't mean he will give up hard work. He will actually have to work hard.
Debilitated.
Yes, that is the... Now look from Arudha Lagna, from status point of view, from image point of view. From Arudha Lagna, Saturn is he's in the 3rd house. Is it good? Saturn in the 12th house, why is it not good?
Second is Manataka, the third is
Who's Manakarka?
For Saturn, 3rd house is good.
second house.
He's Maraka, not Manakarka, Maraka, yeah. But Maraka, it's not only Maraka. For Arudha, second is also the food. Second house is the house of food. So second from Arudha is the food of your image. So what nourishes your image? What builds your image? So if you have Shani there, it's bad, because Shani doesn't have enough food to give your image. But Jupiter there is good. Mercury there is good. So for natural benefit, second in Arudha is good. For natural malefic, second in Arudha is bad. But forget that. We are not talking about second, we are talking about third. From Arudha Lagna, what is the result of benefics in the 3rd house?
It's initiative, drive.
Yeah, if benefics are there in the 3rd from Arudha, is it good or bad?
It's good. He won't take initiative and direction in that time with Arudha.
No. When you are talking about Arudha, it's basically image and status. So there, the third from Arudha, if it has benefits, he is seen as somebody who doesn't have initiative. Okay? It is good if you are a sannyasi, but it is bad if you are a working person. Any planet in the third, it does not give you initiative. That is from real third. The Lagna is the real you. Arudha is not the real you. It is what people think you are. It is the image that people have in their minds. It is what you are projecting in the minds of people.
But even in that projection, if
Yeah.
it's initiated,
Yeah.
it could be that
Benefics. When it comes to Maya, the rules are clear. Benefics, if they are given charge of giving initiative, they will not give initiative.
the benefits in that. So
Yes.
the benefits are
So
always
benefics are always, they will make you look very bold. Mars in the third from Arudha Lagna, he will make you look very bold. Saturn in the third from Arudha Lagna, he will make you look very selfish, who has a lot of drive to get things for himself. Rahu in the third, he will make you look like somebody who can cheat other people, who can do anything to other people to get what you want to get. So if you are looking at a materially successful person, people think that he will get whatever he wants, man. He's really successful. If he wants something, he will get it. Probably he has malefics in the third and sixth from Arudha Lagna. On the other hand, if there is a benefic in the third from Arudha Lagna, the image will be that of somebody who has no initiative, no drive. He doesn't care if he gets something or not. And if you are talking about a material person, that image is bad. But if you are talking about somebody who's spiritual, it's actually better.
right.
It's the right image for him. So we are talking about, when you talk about Arudha Lagna, you are strictly talking about image. So what is good for goose is not good for gander. So that applies very correctly in the case of Arudha Lagna. So you have to see whether this goose or gander when you apply Arudha Lagna. Then you will get a good result. In any case, let's forget that he is a spiritual person. Let's forget about his spiritual image. Let's look at his actual image at the workplace, material in the materialistic sense. So from that sense, pardon me?
He's AL.
Yeah, forget that. We don't care. So his placement in the third from Arudha Lagna is good. Malefic in the third makes somebody look like an achiever. But he is debilitated. If he is debilitated, then again it's bad. Yeah, if a malefic planet is debilitated, he will act as if he is benefic. If you see Saturn, debilitated Saturn in the third from Arudha Lagna in somebody's chart, you can conclude that he will have a lot of initiative, but it will fizzle away. The initiative fizzles away. Pardon? I'm coming to that point next. Forget that he is retrograde. If he is only debilitated, the result is he will have a lot of drive. Not actually have. He will seem to have a lot of drive, but the drive will seem to fizzle out with time. So that is what debilitated malefic shows. Now, he is debilitated and he is retrograde. So actually debilitation is cancelled. He will act as if he is exalted. So that is good. So the overall result is there will be ups and downs in terms of drive. But overall, materially he will appear to be an achiever. Somebody a go-getter. He will basically appear to be a go-getter materially. So from Arudha Lagna, Saturn is well placed. And from Lagna, he is the 9th and 10th Lord in the 12th house of giving up. So what do you conclude?
So it's strong because right now it's as good as Saturn. The Nikabanga is there. So it's like the natural strong Saturn getting in the 12 months.
Yeah.
So
So overall, will it involve some kind of giving up on his part,
yeah.
but which does not make him look like a loser, which actually makes him look like a winner?
Yep.
Is that what you would expect based on this?
That's fine.
So that you would expect in Mercury Dasha, overall Mercury Dasha, not just that particular day. Overall Mercury Dasha. And what about that particular day? Mercury Jupiter. What is the result of Jupiter?
29th December.
Yeah.
Jupiter is the war of the
Where is the Bhoga? From Mercury, if you look at Jupiter, he is in the 7th house. From Jupiter, if you see the 7th house, it is in 12th house. So what is actually experienced, the Bhoga, is in the 12th house. So what?
He didn't have something he gave up on the 29th. Relating to his
On 29th or a few days.
few days later.
Yeah.
He gave up something. He quit his job. No. He gave up something in his job. So it's got to be related to again.
Yeah. If he quit his job, you will see 8th house and 3rd house stand up. 8th house is long break and 3rd house is short break. If you don't see that, if you just see 12th house, it only shows giving up something. Even in his case, Mercury is in the 12th house. He gave up his job. But he has a new job. But in his case, he is not only 12th lord in the 12th house of letting something go, but he is the 8th lord of a break. That is why he actually resigned the job during the Antardasha. But in his case, Mercury has nothing to do with 8th house. So it's not really leaving a job, quitting a job. But it is some kind of giving up in the job.
Also, I think some gain he gave up, because if I look at it, Jupiter is 6th house, sitting in 6th house, but in the Lord of 11th house, which is the house of gain. So he gave up some gains in his case.
Okay?
Do we need to see the Amsa to see?
Yeah. You don't need to, but you can. Actually, you don't need to see anything. You can just say whatever you want. Some people do that also, but if you want, you can see it. Okay, Mercury is in Indra. So Mercury is in Indra-amsa. So overall, Mercury Dasha is a Dasha when his power will be affected, his position will be affected, or is it a Dasha of trouble?
Rise in power.
Yeah, it's either rise in power or exertion of power. That is what Indra shows. Okay. Sahama. Okay. What in Sahama?
What's Mercury's degree?
Mercury's degrees. Mercury is at 27 degrees in Scorpio. Anything in Scorpio?
There is
Jiva Karma.
there was
Which one? Bhratra. Brothers. But he said it's relating to Keris. So let's forget Bhratra. Jiva and Karma. So this is activities and livelihood basically. So something that impacts livelihood. Mercury has an opportunity to impact the livelihood and impact the karma that he does. And anything in the houses owned by Mercury? Satru. But anything relating to Satru here, 6th Lord or 6th Karka, not really. So forget.
Jupiter is sitting in the 6th house in D10.
Forget D10. We are now, let's focus on Rashi chart when we look at the Sahama. Jupiter is the Hora Lord. Oh, okay. In any case, Satru Sahama is not really being activated during this Antardasha. So what else? Jajja. Who's Paka?
Cancer.
You mean Bhoga, okay.
Oh, sorry, Bhoga.
Yeah?
Bhoga.
Yeah?
And Cancer has Saturn, who's the 6th lord.
Okay. Good point, yeah. Good. So actually Satru Sahama is also possible then.
He gave up something for his enemies that he was him to gain.
His 6th Lord in 12th house is good.
What?
But actually what happened was, I had an argument,
Yeah?
more of a 6th house kind of thing with my colleague,
Uh-huh.
who shares office with me.
Uh-huh.
He's been with you for a long time. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He's my colleague for like 5 years. My friend. Our
Okay.
school friend. So we had an argument that reached a boiling point.
Uh-huh.
We both were almost in
Ready to go.
yeah. Yes, they have the very stable peace. And the manager had to intervene and push people away.
So those things happen in workplaces, I see. I never saw them, okay.
Then push him away. Like a drought. Put him in different house. Move him away from my place. So now I share that. That prompted me to prepone my going to India by 3 months. Originally I planned going to
Yes. Mm-hmm.
like the atmosphere after that thing in the
Mm-hmm.
So what is it we gave up here? The friendship? Or
So what I gave up was a few more years, months of gain, salary. That I could have added.
but you didn't leave the job.
I decided to leave earlier than I was originally.
He was going to leave the job in June. He decided long back.
But it doesn't show leaving the job or anything like that.
He didn't leave the job then.
Okay.
He only decided during that time, he decided, okay, I'm not going to stay till June. I'm going to stay only till March.
Decided to give up.
He decided to give up. So there is some kind of loss, some kind of giving up, we said, and that is he's leaving for India. He anyway decided to leave for India. He sold his house. He's living in an apartment now. His wife and children are in India now, right? So he's anyway going. When did you sell your house? Sometime last year. He sold his house. Family is in India. So he was going to leave in June, but he is now leaving earlier. So some kind of giving up, some kind of compromise that is working. And Jupiter, basically the Antardasha Lord, the Paka is in the 6th house, the Bhoga is in the 12th house, the Paka is in the 6th house. So the way he exercises his intelligence is based on where the Antardasha Lord is. So that is 6th house. So he exercises his intelligence to fight, to shoot. So that is what Jupiter gave. But at the same time,
It's not my fault.
It's not all of it.
But conceived by the rest of the people who were involved and both were at fault.
Mhm.
So it was, third from Hara Lagna did play his role of Saturn being there. He was at that as well.
okay. So do you guys think that this may actually be accurate, this Lagna?
Probably.
Probably, yeah. Actually, if it's the next sign, will it be next sign? If it goes to Virgo, it will be the same. It will be the same. So Dashamsa is the same. Rashi will differ. Yeah. Now another thing, he thinks that he wants to leave for India in March. Do you see that in the chart? Now if the class doesn't see it, you have to stay. Otherwise, he shouldn't have given you a chart.
We have to go to D4.
Yeah. First, let's see D10. What you see in career?
March is
Which planets give a long break in career? Or a break? What are the houses of break I told you?
third and eighth.
Third and eighth. Third is a short break, eighth is a long break.
Yeah.
And Jupiter here is Lord of the 8th house. And moreover, what is this 8th house? It has Ketu. Ketu is in the 8th house. Ketu is basically the planet of dissipating things, of burning things away. And he is the 7th Lord. 7th Lord in 8th house is a combination for Alpaish in natal charts. If you see 7th Lord in 8th house or 8th Lord in 7th house, such a person will have a short life. He may not live for a long time. In Tithi Pravesh chart, if you see that combination in Dashamsha, there can be some death-like thing in career basically. 7th Lord, that too Ketu is in the 8th house. So there can be a break in career during the year. And being the dispositor of that Ketu, not only the normal 8th Lord, but dispositor of such a Ketu. So Jupiter has that power. And when is his Dasha? It is coming in March, April, May time frame. So he may postpone by a little bit of time, maybe a month or month and a half. But before May 28th, he is likely to leave his job and go back to India. The original plan was basically to go in April, June or July or something, right? In Rahu. So Rahu, does he show a break in the career?
No, she was traveling.
He to show. Pardon me?
Third house is not good.
Which third house?
Rahu is outside.
Second house.
So no.
So he doesn't really show any. He aspects the 8th house. A malefic aspecting the 8th house can give a break, but Jupiter is certainly more capable of giving it. So if you have to guess whether he will actually really leave for India or is he going to stay for one more year, make his wife a fool who is already in India and stay for a few more years here. Keep saying 3 more months I'll come back, 3 more months I'll come back. Do you think that's possible? Looking at this Jupiter, knowing that he's expecting to leave in Jupiter the chart, do you think that there is a good chance that he will actually leave?
Yes.
So he's planning to leave in Saturn.
You are planning to leave in Saturn the chart?
I gave notice saying my last day will be March 11th.
Okay. So he is actually thinking of living in Saturn the chart. Do you think Saturn can actually give the break, or do you think he may have to leave? He may have to stay for a little more time.
Saturn 9, 10.
It is possible that 10th Lord is giving up 10th Lord his work.
Yeah.
So it is possible to give up.
And in 12 can give travel too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Saturn gives Mercury.
Both is long travel.
Yeah. 12 is long travel, yeah. So do you think it can happen in Sanidasa, or do you think somehow he will have to be involved in his job for a little more time? And actually the break will come in Jupiter Dasha after March 21.
Only thing I'm thinking about, 39 is also there with Saturn.
Yeah.
So that I would have 9th house being there.
Yeah.
It's like, it does, 810 would have cost 800. It's so fun.
Okay, he will let us know later. He is basically planning to live in Saturn Dasha, which is possible. But Jupiter is likely to bring, so even after he leaves, for example, let's say he leaves, still there may be a few mails for him, how do we do this, what about this. So basically the complete attachment cutoff is likely in Jupiter Dasha rather than Saturn Dasha. You booked your tickets, right? Okay.
You want to
Blocked them, okay. But if I didn't know anything from him, if I was going to guess when he would leave for India, or when he would resign his job formally, I would have expected Jupiter Dasha, not Saturn Dasha, based on this chart.
And leaving is, we have to see D4, right, from motherland.
Yes, going back to motherland, yes.
First of all, in Rashi itself, Saturn is the 12th house.
Yeah.
But Saturn is not, is a lot of 6th and 7th house.
Okay. Who shows a travel? Which planet shows a travel and going back to the motherland?
Moon,
For me?
Actually, the 5th Lord will show that.
and 9th.
In P4.
4th is motherland,
5th
and
Lord will take you back to your country. Full of him.
Yes.
Where? You can look, 5th Lord in any P4.
Fifth Lord in Rashi chart.
In Rashi.
And planets associating with the fifth in Chaturtham chart. If you are traveling, in general it is, if you are traveling abroad it is the 9th Lord, but if you are going back to your motherland, Lagna and the 5th house, those are important. Basically 5th house is the house of emotions. And if you are going back, it's basically out of emotions. So 5th house is the house of emotions as well as house of patriotism. And another interpretation is it's the house of Purupanya. So if you are going back to your motherland, it's because of your Purupanya. That's a philosophical interpretation. But logical interpretation is the house of emotions, it's the house of patriotism, and you go back to your roots out of patriotism, out of emotions. So Shani and Jupiter. I would have picked Jupiter. I would have, looking at everything, I would have thought that he would have left in Jupiter, not Shani.
because 5th house is Jupiter.
Yeah. It could still happen that something comes up, he will postpone by a week or a couple of weeks. It's still possible.
Otherwise, you can always rectify the voice check when it comes in.
Yeah. Okay. Now I will give you a puzzle. Now let's go back to Narayan Dasha, the Dasha that we've been learning.
So 5th Lord can be in homeland. But here is the 4th Lord is motherland, and 9th Lord is foreign planet.
Now the data is September 12, 1971, 8:25 a.m. Guntur, India. 80 degrees 23 minutes east, 16 degrees 13 minutes north. Those are the longitude and latitude. This chart belongs to a lady. What I want you to do is look at Narayan Dasha. Look at Narayan Dasha. Okay? In Leo Dasha, suppose this girl's father came to you in 1988 and he wanted to know when his daughter would get married. In 1988, she would be 17 years old. When do you see marriage? Just using Narayan Dasha, I want you to roughly guess when marriage is possible. Okay? You don't have to come up with just one period. You can come up with 2 or 3 periods. As long as the right period is among them, I'll be happy. Now, is Leo Dasha capable of giving marriage at all? Now, you want to see whether Dasha started from Lagna or 7th house?
Yes.
Dasha started from the 7th house, Aries. So, Narayan Dasha in this case is a progression of the 7th house. So, take the 7th from Dasha sign to get the progress Lagna during a particular Dasha. So, in Leo Dasha, what is the Lagna? Aquarius. So, during that Dasha, is marriage a possibility?
7th house. Germany.
Actually, Narayan, you keep quiet. Somebody else.
No, I did read.
After that, everybody fails. Anybody?
Yes, sir.
Taking Aquarius as Lagna, during that Dasha, is there a possibility of marriage? What is the house of marriage? Seventh house.
Venus
Is
is-
seventh house strong?
Yes.
Well, Venus is a little weak because of Sun. But
Yeah.
how much?
Yes, Venus is a little bit weak. But Sun is not bad here because he is the seventh lord too. Had Venus been in the seventh house with Sun, Sun would have weakened Venus, that would have been bad, if Sun's agenda was something else. If Sun's agenda was to not make the person get married, Sun was, let us say, sixth lord.
Then it would weaken the whole.
Then he would weaken the whole thing. If sixth lord Sun was in the seventh house with Venus, he would dominate over Venus. Sixth lord always wants to give bachelorhood. Sixth house is the house of Brahmacharya. That is why Venus has Manakaraka Sthana there. He doesn't want people to remain Brahmacharis. So sixth house is the house of Brahmacharya. If sixth lord Sun was in the seventh house with Venus, then Venus would have been suppressed and Sun would have dominated, and the person is unlikely to get married during that time. She may remain bachelor. Because even though he is given charge of marriage by being in the seventh house, his agenda is sixth house, bachelorhood, being the sixth lord. So that would have been a problem. Here, even though Venus is weak, the Karaka of marriage is weak in the seventh house, the person who is weakening him has the same agenda. He is the project manager of marriage, he is the pupil manager of marriage. The house lord is like, the analogy that we gave in the past is, house lord is like pupil manager and Karaka is like project manager. So both are together and both have the same agenda. So because of that, there is a very strong chance of marriage during the Dasha. So she did get married. So looking at the Dasha Pravesha, which Antardasha would you pick?
Seventh house Lord. Mars. House is Mars.
Seventh house is Scorpio. Seventh lord is
Mars.
Mars.
But he's with Mercury, so Mercury will give.
What do you mean he's with Mercury? We are not looking at Tithyasto Tridasha or Vimsho Tridasha. We don't look at Mercury, Mars, extending results, etc. We are looking at Antardashas of we are looking at Antardashas of science.
We are. But even in Antardasha, the effect of Paka Bhoga we see.
We are not seeing Paka Bhoga and Narayana Dasha. We haven't done it. You are jumping ahead. You probably read more books and more articles. What we do is look at the house, which house it is, which house lords are there. Depending on it, it will give the result. So, using the simple principles that we have covered so far, which Antardashas are likely? In the Dasha Pravesh Chakra, which is the house of marriage? Scorpio. So, Scorpio Antardasha is a possibility. And where is the Scorpio Lord? There are two Lords.
Yeah, one is the fifth house.
One is in the fourth house, one is in the fifth house. Which one is likely to give marriage? The one in the fifth house. The one in Ketu is basically with an enemy. In the enemy's house. So, he is not likely to give marriage. It is Mars. So, which are the Antardashas that you think are likely to give marriage? What?
Aquarius, because UL is great.
Okay, good. Aquarius. Scorpio. Virgo. Those are the Antardashas in which you expect marriage. And she got married in Scorpio Antardasha. The seventh house. Dharma, yeah. In general, my advice would be, go easy on the Arubhapadas in the Dasha Pravesh Chakra. You can use them, but go easy on them. Just look at the house. So it is the seventh house, so it can give marriage. Simple. Now, in Ketrika and Antardasha, something important happened in her life. In Ketrika and Antardasha, which is 94 September to 95 September, something important happened in her life. Can anybody guess it? If somebody guesses it, I'll be proud.
What is that?
94 September to 95 September, which is Ketrika and Antardasha, an important event happened. Now, what I want you to do is, pardon me?
Because it's a third house Lord Moon sitting in the eighth.
Okay, so what Sriram is doing is, for those of you who are not as fast, it is the ninth house and it has third Lord Moon. So what is the result?
On a dharma, for fulfilling her dharma, she travels.
Okay, for fulfilling her dharma, she travels somewhere. Very good. Any other guesses? Ninth house is dharma. Is it something else also? Third Lord is travel. Good.
Protection.
Okay. Travel somewhere for father. For protecting someone? Okay, good guess.
But moon is for mother. Moon mother.
Okay, travel somewhere for mother. What else? What is the other thing that the ninth house shows?
Fortune.
Yeah. So overall, is this a period when her fortune blooms? Yeah. Ninth house, Antardasha of the ninth house. It can be the period when fortune blooms. Fortune in
Foreign land.
foreign land. Can ninth house give foreign travel?
It can give long distance travel.
It can give long distance travel. So, is it possible that she left her mother country for the first time in this Antardasha? Is it possible? Very much. Good. And even if you look in the natal chart,
It's the fourth house.
pardon me, in Leo Dasha, the Dasha Lagna was Aquarius. From Aquarius, Capricorn is 12th house.
Long travel.
Yeah. So,
Long travel.
yeah, long travel. So she,
But what is the effect of it being the third lord?
third lord, so a lot of travel during that Antardasha. Lot of travel, lot of initiative. Now, but the lord of that ninth house, lord of Capricorn, he is in the 8th house. So is it overall a good period or bad period? The fortune blooms, but at the same time, the Antardasha lord, he is in 8th house. Saturn in the 8th house.
Instability, unexpected trouble.
Yes, unexpected trouble, instability, anxiety, etc. So that was also true. The native left her mother country. She went to South Korea with her husband in 95, at the beginning of 95, and she did not really like it there. She did not like South Korea, so she was there for 8 months, 7 months, and in the 8th month she came to US. So this whole year, and also during that time she was pregnant, so there was all the rough period basically. All the rough things happened. But it was a period when her fortune basically bloomed. So being the ninth lord, Saturn's agenda is, what is Saturn's agenda being the ninth lord? To give fortune, to give karma. That is Saturn's agenda. So in Capricorn Antardasha, Saturn will get a chance to promote his agenda. And his agenda is to give fortune. But he can give it through 8th house, because that is where he is. That is what he has access to.
Changes.
It will give changes. It will give fortune through change. Fortune through uncertainty. So that is what you can expect. On the other hand, if Saturn was in the 9th house itself, then you can say that during that period, it is a very fortunate period, and there isn't too much instability. There isn't too much change. So that is how you use the house owned by the planet and the house occupied by the planet. You mix both. They are not the same. The way some people use is, he got married. Okay. Look at the 7th house, 7th lord. Planets aspecting 7th lord. Planets that are with 7th lord. Planets aspecting 7th house. You mix all of those in one group, so you come up with a list of 6 planets. So if the Dasha and Antardasha belong to one of those 6 planets, they say, okay, event is explained. But you have to, pardon me? Yeah. So what you have to do is, you have to distinguish between the meaning of each parameter. A planet being in the 9th house and a planet owning the 9th house are not the same. They are different. They have different agendas, but there is some commonality. So if you understand the meaning of each factor, then you can make judicious judgments, and then you are more likely to make good predictions. So keep that in mind, and practice a little more on Narayan Dasha. Don't go into fancy techniques. If you look at, for example, there is a book on Narayan Dasha by Sanjay Ji. It's the best book on Narayan Dasha. Actually, it's the only book on Narayan Dasha. So if you read that book, there are hundreds of techniques, and if you start using them, then the thing will be, any event you want to explain, there will be one technique which will explain it. So you will say, why did it happen? Oh, because he is in Kendra from Dharkarka. Why did it happen? Oh, because he is aspecting Upvada. So you will always come up with good justification of every event, but that's useless when you want to make predictions. So what I want you to do is stick to the basics. Stick to the principles that we have been doing in the last few classes. We'll do some more classes and we'll slowly go through other principles. The important thing with using many principles is to understand the exact meaning of that principle. Otherwise, you will mix up everything, and you can always explain anything but never make predictions. So look at a few more examples using the same approach, and if you have any doubts, if anything doesn't make any sense, we'll take up that example in the next class. So with that, I'll end for today. Next week, we'll meet in the same place at the same time. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Something